Hey everyone, and welcome to this explainer. Today, we are completely demystifying the lesson planning process. Look, if you've ever felt like writing a lesson plan is just this tedious piece of administrative paperwork that you just have to get through, well, we're going to flip that script today. Because when it's done right, it's actually your absolute most empowering tool. It's literally the secret to having complete control and total confidence in your classroom.
Think about it this way. A lesson plan is quite literally your blueprint. It's not some bureaucratic hurdle you have to jump over. It is an essential toolkit for guaranteeing your success for the day. I mean, just like a master builder wouldn't dream of constructing a house without a really solid schematic, as educators, we need a highly precise map to build knowledge effectively.
Here is our roadmap for today. We'll be covering 1. The blueprint for success. 2. Setting clear learning objectives. 3. Designing engaging learning activities. 4. Checking for student understanding. And 5. Reflecting on your lesson.
Starting off with Section 1, the blueprint for success.
So what is this blueprint really? Well, it's your daily guide, and it actually serves a very specific triple-purpose function. It answers 3 absolutely fundamental questions for your day. What do the students actually need to learn? How exactly is it going to be taught? And this is probably the most crucial one, how will that learning be measured? If your plan is missing even one of those 3 things, your blueprint is incomplete.
To answer those 3 questions, your plan needs a really solid backbone. And that backbone consists of 3 key components: your learning objectives, your teaching and learning activities, and your strategies to check student understanding. Let's break down exactly how these fit together.
Moving on to Section 2, setting clear learning objectives.
Okay, you have very likely heard of SMART goals before, right? Well, they are absolutely critical here. Is your objective specific? Meaning, is there a precise behavior? Is it measurable? Can you actually observe it happening? Is it achievable for your specific students? Is it relevant and worthwhile? And is it time-bound? Running every single one of your objectives through this strict checklist transforms them from, just wishful thinking into concrete, attainable destinations.
So let me ask you this. Are these good learning outcomes? Say you write down, students will learn about geometrical shapes, or maybe students will watch an animation. Are those good? Based on our SMART checklist, absolutely not. They are incredibly vague. Learning about isn't measurable. But contrast that with something like, calculate the area of a composite figure containing a rectangle and a semicircle. Instantly you see the difference, right? One is totally fuzzy, and the other is a highly measurable, specific action.
Getting this right actually requires a massive shift in perspective. Too often, we focus entirely on what the teacher is doing, like the teacher will project a catalog on the board. But learning isn't about what we do, it's about what the student does. The easy fix here? Just describe the precise action the students are expected to perform, like selecting ingredients from that projected catalog. Always orient your objectives around student action.
Which brings us to Section 3, designing engaging learning activities. Before you even utter your first word to the class, your activities section needs to explicitly list absolutely everything required for the lesson. We're talking slides, videos, notes, references, worksheets, rubrics, the whole shebang. Writing this all out guarantees you won't be that teacher scrambling mid-lesson to find a missing worksheet while 30 students rapidly lose their focus. We've all been there, and it's not fun.
Now, the actual teaching and learning activities should be logically divided into 3 distinct sequential phases: readiness, engagement, and mastery. Think of this structure like a metronome. It perfectly paces a student's journey from the very first moment they walk into the classroom all the way to the final bell.
Phase 1, readiness, is all about setting the stage. You can't just drop complex, brand new material on a cold audience. You really have to consider their prior knowledge to help bridge that gap, find motivating context to make them actually care about the topic, and physically prep the learning environment so they are genuinely ready to absorb new information. Next up is engagement, which is the main event. Because your classroom is this amazing melting pot of different experiences and skills, this phase requires really active management. You have to carefully control the pace and your transitions, utilizing a whole variety of teaching strategies to address their diverse needs as they actually grapple with this new material. And finally, mastery. Please, don't just let the lesson abruptly end when the bell rings. This final phase is where you consolidate their learning to ensure long-term retention. Summarize the key points and, crucially, build a bridge to subsequent lessons. You're basically extending their understanding and prepping their brains for tomorrow's class. That leads us right into Section 4, checking for student understanding.
This is where the blueprint really comes full circle.
You have to create a direct, measurable line between those SMART goals you set at the very beginning and how you're going to assess them right now. If your objective was to calculate area, well, your assessment method must specifically check their ability to calculate area. No objective gets left behind without a corresponding check.
And a truly great lesson plan doesn't leave questioning to chance. You should be asking yourself ahead of time, what specific questions will I use to probe comprehension during the lesson? Having these preloaded in your toolkit means you won't freeze up trying to just organically invent ways to see if they're following along.
Plus, passive nodding from your class just isn't enough. What will students actively do to demonstrate their understanding to you? Are we doing a quick quiz, a peer discussion, maybe solving a problem on a whiteboard? Active demonstration is totally non-negotiable to ensure that every single student's learning is fully visible to you.
And finally, Section 5, reflecting on your lesson. Now, this might sound wild, but reflection actually starts before the lesson even begins. If you haven't taught this lesson yet, proactively troubleshoot your blueprint. What issues do you anticipate? What might go wrong? And how will you mitigate those fires before you even step foot in the classroom? Anticipating problems is the true hallmark of a master planner.
Of course, once the lesson is done, the reflection continues. You need to honestly analyze your successes. Ask yourself, what went well? Identifying your victories is honestly just as important as finding your flaws because it tells you exactly which effective strategies you need to clone for your future blueprints.
Then, you got to critically ask yourself, what could be better? Identify those friction points. Did the readiness phase fail to capture their attention? Did engagement move a little too quickly? Did mastery feel rushed at the end? Be brutally honest with yourself and pinpoint exactly where the learning might have faltered.
And all of that leads us to our final and definitely most vital question. What will you do differently? See, a lesson plan is not some static piece of paper. It's a living document. If a lesson missed its SMART objectives, how are you going to adjust the blueprint for next time? By constantly analyzing what you'll do differently. Lesson planning transforms from a daily chore into this incredibly empowering, continuous loop of professional mastery. So I'll leave you with this. What are you going to change in your blueprint tomorrow?